Stop whatever you are doing right now, Gemini. You did not click on this video by chance, nor was it some random algorithm that brought you here. It is the exact moment of your cycle, the absolute urgency of this portal opening, that pulled you in. I feel the heavy weight you have been carrying in silence, that exhaustion you try to hide behind a smile while everything in your life feels stuck. Do not skip this, because what I'm about to reveal is the exact reason why your life has been on pause, and the key to finally walking through this open door. You are always on the verge of a massive breakthrough, but face an inexplicable obstacle right at the finish line. The enemy is not a specific person. It is the heavy field of spiritual envy that clings to your light and stalls your progress. Think of a garden surrounded by a high, thick wall built by those who wanted to block the sun. You have been growing in the dark, Gemini, but that wall is finally coming down. You will understand why your biggest victories always seem to get blocked at the very last step. You will learn how to identify the silent envy that hides behind the smiles of those closest to you. You will discover the exact mechanism of this portal that is opening right now to clear your path. You will find out how to cut the invisible ties that have been draining your energy for months. And before this message closes, I will say a phrase about your life that you will carry with you for the next few months. When the door slammed shut on your biggest dream, it was never your fault. When the praise felt like a hidden dagger, it was never your fault. When you woke up feeling completely drained of your own light, it was never your fault. Have you ever felt that there is a strange, heavy pressure sitting squarely on your chest that gets heavier? The closer you get to a major breakthrough, as if every step forward is being closely watched by unseen eyes, and as if a voice inside you is whispering that the people smiling at you are secretly waiting for you to fail, but your mind refuses to accept it. And what if this endless loop of stalling at the finish line is not a lack of luck, but a sign that the universe is trying to show you the spiritual envy blocking your portal? Because while many pretend that spiritual envy doesn't exist, few realize that every delayed victory can carry an unspoken curse, a silent drain, and an invisible siege that hasn't been cut yet. But what if the massive turning point is in this revelation that you haven't been able to apply yet? Now think with me. Why does everything stall in my life precisely when it is about to work out? What if every plan that crumbled the night before, every compliment that left a bitter taste in your mouth, every friend who vanished when you started shining, every wave of exhaustion after a simple conversation, and this constant feeling of being trapped in a room with no doors, were signs of a spiritual envy that you have ignored for far too long? It was searching for answers to this that I found this digital book called The Great Secret of the Universe to Keep Envy Away from Gemini's Life. This is a revelation created for Geminis who wish to understand the exact source of this heavy energy stalling your path, cut the invisible ties of spiritual envy and silent sabotage, banish this heavy weight from your life for good, so you can walk through this portal completely free. Many Geminis already feel that they need to protect themselves from this energy that surrounds them. But they still haven't made the decision to download the digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But attention, access might be taken offline at any moment. It reveals reflections, hidden signs, and directions that can transform your energetic field. Do not wait for another major breakthrough to collapse at the finish line before you decide to protect your energy. Click right now, download your copy, and discover why the envy that tried to lock your portal shut might be the exact proof that the universe has prepared a destiny too bright for you to walk into unprotected. You are probably processing this right now, feeling that sudden chill of recognition on the back of your neck. Take a slow breath. If this first word has already touched something deep inside you, write "My light is protected" down below. Not for me, but because another Gemini who is exactly where you were a year ago needs this message to find them tonight. This path has a map, and it is already within your reach in the first pinned comment. I will come back to it shortly, and if for some reason you are not interested, or you cannot acquire the digital book right now, there is still another open door for you. I do not receive a single cent for any of these messages that I deliver here every day. Nothing at all. And even so, they keep coming out every single day for you and for every Gemini who still needs to be reached. If at any moment your heart wishes to give back a little of what it received, there is a voluntary donation link open in the first pinned comment right below the book. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any amount that your heart points to. This is what keeps this channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another Gemini tomorrow, exactly as it reached you today. I am waiting for you there, Gemini. I haven't even told you the most important thing yet. There are 4 signs that this siege is already acting upon you, and you will recognize at least one of them. Let the dust settle for a moment, Gemini. We need to go much deeper into exactly how this heavy energy has been manifesting in your daily routine, because the invisible siege never attacks in the open. It always leaves subtle fingerprints. I want you to lower your guard for a second. Listen closely to what I am about to describe. Notice how your body reacts to what I'm about to say right now. Pay attention to the sudden shifts in your memory as we walk through this, because these are not isolated incidents. There are 4 precise signs that this heavy energy is already acting upon your life. And as soon as I name them, you will realize that you have been fighting a severe spiritual battle while thinking you were just too tired. Think about that sudden chill and profound exhaustion you felt on a Tuesday afternoon, right after sharing a piece of good news with someone who smiled at you. Their lips formed a congratulation, but that praise tasted incredibly bitter in your mouth. This was not just social fatigue hitting you out of nowhere. It was your energetic field desperately warning you that not every smile wants to see you win. For some of you, this was a friend you have known for a decade. For others, it was a colleague who constantly monitors your progress. You called it chronic exhaustion and burnout. The universe called it a severe energetic drain. Then there is the second sign, and this one happens in the quiet of the night. Remember that project or plan you had perfectly mapped out on your desk late at night, Gemini. You poured your soul into every single detail, only to watch it inexplicably fall apart the next morning without any logical reason. But this was not a lack of effort on your part. It was the invisible siege pulling the emergency brake on your progress just when you were about to accelerate. You called it a string of bad luck right at the finish line. The universe called it an invisible siege. The third sign happens when you are supposedly safe, surrounded by familiar faces. It is that heavy, unexplainable weight on the back of your neck after a completely normal family gathering or a casual coffee with friends. You come home feeling like you ran a marathon, battling a physical tiredness that makes absolutely no sense for the occasion. This was not the natural toll of a busy day. It was a silent drain siphoning your vital energy while you were looking the other way. You called it being overly paranoid about your friends. The universe called it a sharp spiritual perception. And finally, the fourth sign, the one that hurts your pride the most. It is the person who suddenly grew distant and stopped texting the exact moment you started rising and getting your life together. You thought you did something wrong. You spent nights replaying conversations in your head trying to find the mistake. But this was not them simply being busy or distracted. It was the universe forcefully removing an anchor that could not handle the brightness of your open portal. You called it a painful rejection. The universe called it absolute divine protection. Every single one of these signs has a common origin, and it has a precise name. But before the name, you need something else entirely. There is a path of protection, and I am going to open it right now. Before the name, before the word. Because whoever is carrying the heavy weight of this invisible siege needs absolute relief before receiving the revelation. Stay here. And it is exactly here that the path of protection opens. The signs that just hit you did not hit you by chance, Gemini. You are experiencing that cold, suffocating grip that wraps around your life every single time you are about to step into your true power. It is an overwhelming sensation you desperately try to push away, as if a quiet but persistent voice inside you is constantly whispering that the people smiling at you, the loudest, are secretly waiting for you to fail. Your logical mind refuses to accept it, so you swallow your intuition and keep pretending everything is fine. But what if this endless loop of stalling at the exact finish line is not a lack of luck, not a flaw in your strategy, but a blatant sign that the universe is aggressively trying to show you the spiritual envy blocking your portal? You have been treating this as a simple string of unfortunate events trying to outwork the exhaustion. But the universe is showing you the exact architecture of an invisible siege that was deliberately placed around your light. I have seen Geminis who are exactly where you are right now. Geminis who spent years watching their greatest efforts turn to ash in their hands at the very last second, right when the victory was finally guaranteed. Geminis who blamed themselves for being too tired, too unfocused, or simply not good enough, completely blind to the fact that their bright light was actively being siphoned by those standing right next to them in the dark. They carried the weight of the world on their shoulders, thinking it was just the cost of ambition, without realizing they were actually carrying the heavy, envious energy of everyone around them. The doors that slammed shut in your face, the relationships that turned cold out of nowhere, the heavy stares you feel on your back. It was searching for answers to this that I found this digital book called The Great Secret of the Universe to Keep Envy Away from Gemini's Life. This digital book does not just comfort you with sweet words, it reveals the exact mechanism of this heavy energy so you can understand precisely why your path stalls right before the breakthrough. It teaches you how to identify the subtle masks of this silent sabotage and how to cut the invisible ties of spiritual envy that you have been dragging along for months. It shows you how to banish this heavy weight from your life for good, permanently clearing your energetic field so you can walk through this portal completely free. Because there is a universal law to this energy, Gemini. Envy cannot cross a threshold that has been illuminated. The siege only holds power as long as it operates in the dark, and this cosmic energetic window will not wait for you to figure it out later. This configuration does not wait. It is opening right now in this exact phase of your cycle, and it demands that you step through it without the heavy anchors of others pulling you backward. Do not wait for the next door to slam shut to finally understand what this current block is trying to teach you. Every single day you spend without this path is another drop of your vital energy handed over to the unseen eye. Every major project you attempt without sealing your field is another hard-earned victory you are leaving vulnerable to the silent sabotage of the invisible siege. Every time you smile through the exhaustion without cutting these ties, you allow that cold grip to tighten its hold on your destiny. The digital book is in the first pinned comment. Download it right now while this word is still alive in you. Because what is waiting inside those pages is not just information but the absolute shielding of your energy field that only this specific path can fully map out for you. Think again about that beautiful garden surrounded by a high, thick wall, built stone by those who desperately wanted to block the sun. You couldn't see the bricks, but you always wondered why the sunlight wasn't reaching your flowers. Why every bloom felt like a massive struggle against the elements. For so long you have been growing in the dark, cracking the heavy foundation with your deep roots, pushing through the cold earth with sheer willpower. But now, the portal is the sudden, violent wind that knocks the wall down, brick by brick. The blinding sunlight is finally hitting the soil, and the heavy, stagnant air is rapidly clearing out. You are stepping out of the shadows, Gemini. The invisible barrier is shattered, and your energy is immediately returning to your own body. You can finally breathe without that suffocating pressure on your chest. And as I had told you earlier, Gemini, besides the digital book that is in the first pinned comment, there is that voluntary donation link open, right below the book. I continue to not receive a single cent for every message that goes out from here to you. That is why this link exists, so that another Gemini tomorrow can find exactly this message that found you today. Any amount that your heart points to. Every such gesture keeps our channel standing and makes the next message reach whoever needs it, exactly as it reached you today. There is an ancient name for this, and now with the path laid out in front of you, the name comes down. It is not a string of bad luck right at the finish line. It is not an unexplainable coincidence, nor is it a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is a precise energetic mechanism that the ancients called the threshold of Vascania. This is the exact moment when a cosmic portal opens and forces all hidden, envious energy, the Vascania, the heavy, suffocating weight of the unseen eye, to either drop off completely or squeeze you tighter in a desperate attempt to maintain its grip. Most people misunderstand this heavy pressure. They feel the sudden exhaustion, They watch the doors close at the last second, and they think this is a sign that they should stop. They believe the universe is telling them no. But the truth is entirely different, Gemini. The portal is actively exposing the siege. The threshold of Vascania is the sudden, blinding burst of light that reveals exactly who and what has been siphoning your energy in the dark. It is not punishing you. It is not testing your resilience. It is forcing the invisible weight to show itself so you can finally leave it behind. The heavy pressure sitting on your chest right now is just the Vascania reacting to the light of your open portal. Think of a beautifully walled garden that blooms anyway. Imagine a garden surrounded by a high, incredibly thick wall, built stone by those who desperately wanted to block the sun. They stacked those heavy bricks in absolute silence, smiling at you while carefully ensuring the light would never reach your soil. And for a very long time you couldn't see the bricks. You just wondered why the sunlight wasn't reaching your flowers. You asked yourself why every single bloom felt like a massive, exhausting struggle against the elements. You blamed the soil. You blamed the weather. You blamed your own hands, thinking you were just not tending to your life correctly. But your roots grew so deeply that they cracked the foundation from underneath. Your vines climbed over those cold, heavy stones, desperately seeking the light, regardless of the barrier they built around you. It is exactly where you are right now, Gemini. You have been growing in the dark, adapting to the heavy shadow of the unseen eye, surviving on whatever little light made it over the wall. But the wall is finally coming down. The threshold of Vascania is the sudden, violent wind that shatters the stone brick by heavy brick. I saw you swallow your own good news at that table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. I watched you carry the heavy weight of everyone else's expectations, while they secretly hoped your light would dim just enough to make them comfortable in their own shadows. I placed this portal in front of you, not to test your endurance, but to finally strip away the invisible hands that have been holding you back. You have walked far enough in the dark, and you will not carry their weight into this new cycle. There is a man who carried this exact same invisible siege for years. He is a Gemini, just like you, who watched every single one of his promotions vanish into thin air at the very last second. Every relationship he built turned sour just when it got serious, crumbling overnight for absolutely no logical reason. He lived in a state of chronic exhaustion, constantly carrying a heavy pressure on the back of his neck, thinking he was simply meant to struggle harder than everyone else. He thought it was just his karma. And then his cycle shifted. The portal opened for him, just as it is opening for you right now. What changed in him was not that he started fighting back with anger or paranoia. He did not confront anyone, he did not point fingers, and he did not start a war. What changed was that he finally recognized the energy that was feeding on him. He saw the Vascania for exactly what it was, a silent parasite, and he simply stepped out of its reach. The moment he stopped accepting that heavy energy as his own normal routine, his path immediately cleared. The promotions stopped vanishing. The bone-deep exhaustion completely disappeared. The invisible siege collapsed because it could no longer feed on his bright light in the dark. You are still processing this right now, feeling that sudden rush of fresh air hitting your face as a massive weight begins to lift off your shoulders. The deepest truth is still ahead, and it has your name. Stepping out of the shadows is only the beginning. The revelation of this siege is not just about understanding what held you back. It is about recognizing exactly who you became while surviving in the dark. Because the heavy energy you fought against shaped you into something extraordinarily powerful, even if you couldn't see it yet. Gemini feels. Gemini perceives. Gemini reads the room before a single word is spoken. And because of this profound sensitivity, you likely fell into one of 3 roles you adopted to survive the invisible siege. Perhaps you are the hidden star, who learned to dim their light so others wouldn't squint. You started making yourself smaller, swallowing your brilliant ideas and minimizing your success just to keep the peace at the table. Your vulnerability is that you convinced yourself that your shine was a burden to others, when in reality, it was their envy that couldn't handle your brilliance. Or maybe you are the silent carrier, who holds everyone's heavy energy but their own. You are the one everyone runs to when their lives are falling apart. But the moment you need a hand, the room goes completely quiet. You bear the weight of their shadows with dignity, mistakenly believing that if you fix them, they will eventually celebrate your light. And then there is the unseen winner, whose victories are always celebrated in secret. You achieve massive milestones and break generational cycles, but you lock those wins away in silence because every time you shared them in the past, a sudden string of bad luck followed. You learned to thrive in absolute isolation to protect your joy from the bitter smiles of those you loved. But you know exactly what I am talking about. Notice your chest right now. Feel that sudden radiating warmth expanding beneath your ribs, releasing a tension you didn't even know you were holding. That warmth has a name. It is the undeniable truth of your own reflection, finally being witnessed without the distortion of the unseen eye. You are not a collection of delayed victories and chronic exhaustion. You are the one who managed to bloom despite the heavy stone walls. You carry the strength of someone who fought a severe spiritual battle entirely alone and still kept their heart soft. But this powerful identity that has just been claimed over your life today needs to be sustained. Because the Gemini who finally recognizes their own immense value without fully mapping out the invisible siege that surrounds them will eventually go back to carrying heavy stares, bitter compliments, unspoken rejections that are not theirs. It is exactly to prevent this cycle from repeating that I found the digital book called The Great Secret of the Universe to Keep Envy Away from Gemini's Life. It is available right now in the first pinned comment. You need the complete map, because stepping into the light means becoming visible again. Sustaining the powerful identity that has just been claimed over your life today requires understanding how to permanently banish this energy. Do not wait for the heavy stares to return before you secure what has just been given to you. Click the link and download your copy so you can walk through this open portal, knowing exactly how to keep your field completely clear. I promised I would come back to this. But first, you need to know exactly how this cycle will try to creep back in, because it will try. I told you that this cycle would try to find its way back into your life, and it absolutely will. The invisible siege does not surrender easily, Gemini. It will attempt to slip through the cracks of your new armor in the coming days, and you need to know exactly what those subtle attempts look like so you can cut them off immediately before they take root. The first tactic it uses is the doubt that sounds exactly like your own voice. You will be on the verge of making a brilliant decision, stepping into your power, and suddenly a heavy thought will whisper that you are not ready, that you are reaching far too high, that it is bound to fail anyway. This is not your intuition. It is the lingering residue of the unseen eye, trying to convince you to lock your own door from the inside. When this happens, your weapon is simple and immediate. You must physically brush off both of your shoulders with your hands, clearing the weight, and declare out loud, "This thought does not belong to me." The moment you name it as a foreign energy, it completely loses its grip on your mind. The second tactic is the bitter compliment disguised as deep care. Someone will look at your new success and say something seemingly kind, but it will carry a heavy, toxic undertone, deliberately designed to make you feel guilty for winning. For some of you, this will come from a close family member at a Sunday dinner table. For others, it will be that one coworker who always monitors your screen a little too closely. When you hear that tone, do not absorb it. Do not smile and swallow the poison to keep the peace. Cross your fingers inside your pocket, completely out of sight, and silently declare, "I return this to the sender." The heavy energy will instantly bounce off your energetic field and return exactly to where it came from. The third tactic is the sudden, overwhelming urge to hide your next victory. The exact moment something wonderful happens for you, a quiet fear will tell you to keep it a secret, to make yourself smaller so you don't bother anyone with your joy. You must not shrink. Whenever you feel that impulse to dim your brilliance to make others comfortable, stand up perfectly straight, align your spine, pull your shoulders back, and declare with absolute certainty, "My light is mine." These three weapons protect you from what I managed to show you today. But the cycle has more layers than can fit in one single video. Because when the bitter compliment arrives, when the next project stalls out of nowhere, when the unexplainable exhaustion hits you again, you cannot afford to be caught off guard and thrown back into the dark. This is exactly why you need to download the digital book. The great secret of the universe to keep envy away from Gemini's life. It is waiting for you right now, in the first pinned comment. I am not rushing you. I am warning you. What is laid out inside those pages is the complete blueprint of spiritual armor you need so this siege never traps you again. Do not wait for the next invisible siege to take hold before you open the map. This specific cosmic window is open right now, and the universal energy required to permanently seal your field is at its absolute peak. Click the link, download your copy, and secure your boundaries while the door is wide open. And now, I need you to stop learning for a moment and start feeling. Close your eyes for just 5 seconds. I want you to completely lower your guard in this exact moment, because your mind has been fighting an exhausting battle for far too long. Drop your shoulders right now. Take one slow, deep breath and let the heavy air leave your lungs. You have spent months bracing yourself for the next disappointment, anticipating the moment when the door would slam shut again. But right now, in this precise second, you are entirely safe. You do not need to defend yourself here. Notice the quiet space that is opening up inside your chest, that rare silence where the noise of the unseen eye cannot reach you. Keep your eyes closed and imagine a thick, invisible wall of glass surrounding your entire body. See it clearly in your mind's eye. It is smeared with the heavy fingerprints of every envious look, every bitter smile, and every unspoken judgment you have ever received. This is the Vascania that has been keeping you trapped. Now imagine a blinding, brilliant flash of light from this opening portal, striking the glass directly. Hear it shatter into a million pieces. Feel the sudden rush of fresh air hitting your face as the barrier completely collapses. The weight is immediately lifting off your shoulders and the back of your neck. Your field is entirely clear. Now it is time to let it all go. Release the heavy pressure of the unspoken words you swallowed just to keep the peace at the table. Release the profound guilt of outshining those who secretly wanted you to remain small and invisible. Release the bitter compliments that clung to your energetic field and drained your vital energy in the dark. Release the chronic exhaustion of constantly carrying the heavy weight of relationships that only took without ever giving back. The glass is shattered, and now you must reclaim exactly who you are. I activate the hidden star, who will never again dim their brilliant light, just so others won't have to squint. I activate the silent carrier, who now drops the heavy shadows of everyone else and finally chooses to carry only their own massive joy. I activate the unseen winner, who will no longer celebrate their greatest victories in secret, because your massive breakthroughs are now fully protected by the light. You are still processing this right now, feeling the undeniable warmth of a clean, protected energy field settling over your body. Before we seal this completely, write down below the name of someone you are carrying with you through this portal. Or, if this is just for you, write in one sentence what you are expecting the universe to give back to you. I will read it, and you will not be writing this alone. Do not let go of this energy just yet. We are not done. Stay with me. Your home is now completely shielded from the heavy stares that tried to cross your threshold. Your daily effort is sealed against the silent drain that used to empty your hands at the end of the day. And the massive breakthrough that is already on its way to you is protected from anyone who would try to claim it as their own. I watched you stand before the doors that slammed shut when you needed them to open. You thought it was a punishment, but I pulled the emergency brake because the room inside was filled with an energy that would have suffocated your light. I saw you swallow your own good news at that table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. I watched you carry the heavy weight of everyone else's expectations, while they secretly hoped your light would dim just enough to make them comfortable in their own shadows. I placed this portal in front of you not to test your endurance, but to finally strip away the invisible hands that have been holding you back. I felt the sharp sting you experienced when a compliment left a bitter taste in your mouth. You questioned your sanity, but I was heightening your spiritual perception so you could see the invisible siege operating right beside you. I witnessed the bone-deep exhaustion that kept you awake at night. It was the heavy toll of fighting a severe spiritual battle alone, surviving in the dark, while tending to a garden that desperately needed the sun. You have walked far enough in the dark. The wall is down, and the energy that drained you is permanently banished. The doubt that sounds exactly like your own voice ends right here, The bitter compliment disguised as deep care ends right here. The sudden urge to hide your next victory ends right here. Gemini has never been half of anything. Gemini is not envied for being light. Gemini is envied for carrying two worlds where others can barely hold one. Don't let go yet. The universe has just told you. I saw you swallow your own good news at that table because something warned you it wasn't safe to share. And it is exactly why I need to remind you of one thing before sealing. What was cut here today is real, and your field is finally breathing. But you will step out of your door, and that heavy, envious gaze will try to latch onto your shoulders again tomorrow morning. The unseen eye will actively test the boundaries you just established, searching for any crack in your new armor. You need a permanent anchor, because maintaining the absolute protection you build during this journey so you don't lose it tomorrow requires a precise spiritual blueprint. This is why I am pointing you to the digital book, The Great Secret of the Universe to Keep Envy Away from Gemini's Life. It is available right now in the first pinned comment. This is the companion you need to ensure the invisible siege never returns. Do not let tomorrow test the armor you have built today without having the right guide. Click the link, download your copy, and keep your field entirely secure. There are thousands of Geminis listening to this right now, in the same silence as you. If this voice found you today, subscribe to the channel, not to add a number, but because the next message of this series is going to look specifically for those who have already crossed this threshold. In the next video of this series, I will show you the exact sign that appears 3 days before this portal closes again, and why almost every Gemini completely ignores it. Do not miss it. And still in this video, Gemini, before I seal this hour with you, I come back one last time to this request. You have walked with me this far. You have crossed every word, every revelation, every sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt the universe touch you, you know this video was not an accident. The voluntary donation link remains open in the first pinned comment right below the digital book. Not as a charge, not as an exchange, but as a giving back from the one who received to the source this message came from. Any amount your heart points to, and the universe sees every gesture. The universe sees, and the universe multiplies over your home, over your days, over what you don't even know is about to arrive. This was my last request. I'll be waiting for you there. Thank you so much. And when that heavy stare tries to return and cast a shadow over your path, remember that the answer has a name, the great secret of the universe, and it is already within your reach. That high, thick wall built to block your sun is finally shattered, and your deep roots are ready to drink in the blinding light. Now that you can let go, this message is complete. What was seen was seen, what was cut was cut. Walk light, Gemini.